Europe is confronting a new wave of geopolitical tension as the war in the West Asian region escalates following US-Israeli strikes on Iran. The conflict has exposed divisions among European partners, forced governments to reassess security vulnerabilities, and intensified debates about Europe's role in the crisis. For more on this, we're joined by DW's Thomas Sparrow in Berlin. Thomas, let's start with Germany, where you are. Chancellor Friedrich Merz traveled to the US for a meeting with President Donald Trump. What was the Chancellor trying to achieve, and how did that meeting go?
It was actually a meeting that was planned before the war began. So basically the topics that were on the agenda for Friedrich Merz were slightly different to the war in the Middle East. Those topics included the war in Ukraine, but also, and this is particularly relevant from a German perspective, the issue of the economy, specifically tariffs. But it is clear that the war in the Middle East overshadowed those other topics, and that was evident during the meeting in the White House. From the German perspective, what Friedrich Merz tried to present is the idea that Germany has the same goal as the US, stand in the same page as the US when it comes to removing the regime in Iran. However, there are concerns in Germany about what happens next, what Friedrich Merz described as the day after. And Germany has also been rather cautious when it comes to criticizing or even questioning the legality of the strikes from the United States and Israel, and that is unlike other European countries. So in your introduction, you mentioned correctly that this is revealing tensions from a European perspective as to what role Europe might lead, and in particular what role European countries like Germany, France and Spain might lead in this crisis as well.
And talking about Europe, Thomas, what divisions exist among European partners regarding this conflict?
Well, we heard already about Germany and Friedrich Merz in Washington, but what was also evident at the White House was the position that other countries have taken. And in fact, Donald Trump was very critical on the one hand of Spain. Spain has criticized the legality of these strikes from the US. Spain has also barred the US from using its military bases for further attacks. And Trump was very critical of Spain. Trump was also critical of the United Kingdom. Now, the UK is not part of the European Union, but is working hand in hand with Europe on a variety of topics. And as such, Trump criticized both Spain within the European Union and the UK, which is out of the European Union. That was evident at the White House, and that just reveals to what extent the European Union and Europe as a whole are now scrambling to find one particular voice, one unified approach to deal with this crisis and position themselves accordingly.
And if I might add, Thomas, France has also chimed in saying that what is happening with regards to Iran is falling out of the international law, as it were. But coming back to the issue at hand, how are European citizens reacting to this ongoing tensions in that part of the world?
And thank you for adding that about France, because it is important where France stands in this whole crisis and to what extent France has supported the view coming from Spain and Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. So you can clearly see that there are differing views from France, from Spain, from Germany. Indeed. Basically, you have 27 European Union countries now positioning themselves, and the goal from Brussels will be to try and unify those positions and also to try and understand and present that to European citizens that are concerned about the impact that that might have in European economies if gas prices go up, if oil prices go up, but also if there are security concerns coming from this war specifically for European countries. This is an ongoing development, an ongoing crisis, and one that will certainly test Europe's resolve when it comes to having one unified approach.
All right, we'll leave there for now. Thomas, thank you. Thomas Sparrow reporting there from Berlin.